how they like.
Christology, episode 3. Let's get it. So we continuing off from episode 2. We got carried away. We've been talking for like over an hour. So it's just a continuation. So we could start episode 3.
Yes. But that's what I've been saying. Like that book, right? And all those like translations from one language to another, it shows you how everything is connected. It's all connected. Everything. And that's because of God. He connected everything because he is everything. Because like a lot of people say like what I think, right, is how God is 3 persons. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't like the idea that God is 3 separate things, but he's also one. Because there is a
Trinity.
the Trinity. There is a good example of like what he is, right? That this one, I think it was a YouTuber. They make really good like animations, but basically they said that to us, the persons, right? The way we see them is we see them as one, and then another one, and then another one, like 3 separate things. But the way that he actually is he's actually what's it called, a shape. He's a certain shape, right? And then he changes the way that he enters the world, like through a veil, which we would say is like the universe, right? So for example, like there's a wall, and you're on the other side of that wall, and God is that shape on the outside of that wall.
Okay.
The wall is the universe. He enters the universe by
perceptive in the way that you can see it.
Yeah, your perception is the wall. All you see is the wall. But he enters through that wall, and all you see is a circle, right? And that's God. Now, obviously, it could be anything, the Spirit, the Father, the Son. It could be one of them. But then he goes out and he exits. But for him, he's not 3 separate circles entering through that wall.
Right.
He's a shape that's just changing the way that it's like showing itself, right. And then he enters through that wall.
So we can't say how God is, how he is, like, because we're human.
Yes.
Right? We can't understand exactly how, let's say, for example, why is he shown in the Bible in 3 different ways?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, he's one. Humans can't comprehend that.
And then so we make the examples like that.
The best way to comprehend that is to understand that us humans have body, spirit, the soul. 3 make you. Without one, it doesn't make you, right? Mm-hmm. There's not 3 people, it's one, but it's presented it in 3 ways, right?
Yep.
But people don't like that because they're like, how God can be this? How can God be Jesus and then still be God up there and still be, hey, I'm going to give you this example. Who the hell are you to confine God in what your brain can handle? Your brain can only handle this much. Stop trying to handle things that you can't comprehend.
Right.
It's impossible because you're a human.
Exactly.
Right? Something that created cells, created the universe.
Atoms.
Right?
Things that you can't even see.
It's something that we can't comprehend. Right? He created you. That eye, that all veins and so many like
interconnecting cells.
It's so complicated organ. We can't even explain it. And you're trying to explain God? You're trying to tell me that you are trying to tell me how God is and who he is and how he can be? You're crazy.
Yeah.
Understand this, man. If he presented himself in that way, that's how he presented himself. Stop trying to understand, oh, that means he's this, and that. No. That's the reason why he said, I am. Why? Because if he tries to explain himself, we won't be able to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's too complicated.
That's why when people try to fight about it, I let them be. Fight about it, man. If you want to think that you're better and you want you know more, man. I feel, it's kind of funny for me, because I believe in a God that is powerful,
Mhm.
that is a being that I don't understand. That I just know that He loves me and He wants me to go with Him when I leave this physical body, right? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Why the hell do I want to know if we can go faster than the speed of light? If we can create, humans that can live forever. I mean, this world is already pretty much um, a pain
Yeah.
to live in. Imagine living it for a lot of years and more than the ones that we have, right? That's the reason why I always say, you know what, people can fight about it. People can try to ask. Like, I'll give you another example. People say, my friend asked me this last time I went, and he's like, what are we going to do when we're good with God? What's next? And I was like, first of all, man, why you ask your questions like that? It's cool. I understand. I think God, I believe God is like, okay, ask questions. It's all right. In my opinion, I'll ask God. In my opinion, I don't want to know. I just want to know. I just want to go with God. I just want to see Him, glorify Him. I just want to be next to Him. I want to thank Him. I want to see all those beautiful things He created. He created the universe, man. I don't want to be confined to this body and be able to be next to Him and talk to Him and walk with Him and tell me, like, just get to know Him deeply. That's what I want, right? But people want to know what's next. I'm like, I think they haven't had a real connection with God. Because if you really want to know what's next, He was telling me, maybe that's the reason why the devil revolted, and that's what he wanted, because he was this, he was that. I was like, bro, if you want to go deep, there's people that ask, where does God come from?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is there a God that created God? And this and that. I'm like, man, your human brain is not able to comprehend none of that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Stop thinking about it. Obviously, you can think about it. I mean, I in my opinion, I don't want to think about it. If you want to and go deep and like God says, you're gonna go crazy because your brain won't comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying, and there's an example. It's like an ant. Does an ant know what feelings are? What you feel for your mom when you hug her, when you thank her, when you think. Do they know that? No. Can you explain that to them?
No.
No. You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Right? How is he gonna explain us things that we can't comprehend? We just can't. It's just impossible, and that's it. God showed I don't know if it was some of the apostles, some of the future stuff, and they had to explain it in the way they knew. They saw things and they're like, this looks like a horse. They saw this looks like a head of this. This looks like a wheel. This because they didn't know, right? Just imagine him trying to explain things that are outside of this universe, outside of this dimension. You'll just go crazy, man.
Yeah, of course. And that's a cool thing how like you bring that up too, because
Trying to explain a dude that's never seen that. Hey, bro, you saw this? They're gonna do this guy. He's going. He's smoking some good shit,
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
that's the thing,
That's great too, because God knows that as well. He knows that if He opened Himself up fully to you when you are as you are now in this body, it would probably overwhelm you to the point where you just die, like you just drop dead, and He would fry you. And that's probably why He doesn't explain all of it to us, because He knows, like, hey, like as you said, the ant analogy. If you told an ant how you're feeling your mom, if that ant could actually understand you, that ant would probably spontaneously combust and just die, because it's an ant. It's not capable of that.
No.
And just as easy as you could probably step on that ant, and kill it, and we'd probably in the same way.
One analogy that I remember is like some people were talking about blind people, and they were trying to explain blind people what colors are.
It's impossible.
And people were trying to say like, oh, blue is like cold. and red is like hot, and blind people were like going crazy. They're like, "What
Mhm.
the heck are you talking about?" You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? That's exactly how our brain will be. We're like, "What the hell is going?" Like, we don't know, man, and we can't explain it.
Yeah.
You can explain a color to a blind person. That's how your brain is like. What like you can't. This
It
is impossible.
confuses you.
Not even confuse you. You just go. You go crazy. The blind people were like, bro, like this is crazy, man.
Mhm.
How does Jesus view agnostic people to where they're the type of people, the realists, to where they have to see it to believe it? So let's say that's the first question, and what's the next question is how will they be dealt with in heaven?
Okay.
And the person is a good person who's just agnostic. He hasn't seen. He wanted to see it to believe it. He didn't have any like miracles or one of those
So-
voila moments.
For the second question, how
Okay.
if they were in heaven already? So when you go to heaven, sin is not a thing in heaven, right? And obviously, if you're in heaven, you know Christ. So you can't be, what is the word, agnostic?
Yeah.
You can't be agnostic in heaven because he's there. He's everywhere when you're in heaven. You're literally next to him in the sense of like, like in heaven. Like next to him is like you're him with him. So you can't be, because then if you, like, let's say you were in heaven, right? And somehow, because this is impossible, sin is not a thing in heaven. If you were able to sin in heaven and say, oh, like become agnostic and say, hey, I don't believe in this because he's not here or whatever, right? You would be committing the sin of blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. And that would cause you to like fall out of heaven. But that's impossible. Can't be agnostic in heaven because seeing it to believe it.
You can't.
I'm saying
I just
when
want to
they-
jump in there because
Let's say they die agnostic and then they go to heaven. You're like, oh, this is real. They get that like voila, that eureka moment. Like, oh, it is real. With this, yeah,
I got because I
what
have
would-
a little bit of.
What would Jesus think about that?
I remember something, so that's
Mhm.
what I wanted to say. Is that okay?
Yeah, cook. I'm on all the other cook.
So, someone asked God about that. I don't remember who it is exactly in the Bible.
Mm.
And God said that there's going to be a time, there's going to be a moment where God is going to present himself and you reject him. God is a gentleman. He'll step back. But he will present himself to you.
Mhm.
You reject him, that's on you. Right? So once you go and say, God, you're in front of God. He's like, I was there. I knocked the door. You didn't answer. I walked away.
Mhm.
The kingdom of heaven is not yours.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that are chosen, right? And people that are not. And that's the unfortunate thing, because we all think like, oh, everybody should have a chance, but some won't. And it's unfortunately, there's things that I always think about like that's unfair,
Mhm.
but it's not. God chose, he chooses his people, right? To talk to other people. There's always going to be those people that will reject them, even though they hear about him.
Mhm.
God talks to you through people. And if you don't want to listen, he's a gentleman. He'll walk away. He won't force himself at all.
The reason why I asked that question because there's a lot of people that's naive. Is those like I see it to believe it's not real. It's not real. And then once they die, they're like, oh, it's real. So it's like, what happens to them then? It's like,
I would say that there's a rejection between being naive
mhm.
and rejection
Mhm.
in the sense, because you can not know about something, right? Like let's say, for example, like one of those tribes in like the Amazon or something.
And that's not their fault.
It's not their fault. And Christ knows that because he's all merciful, right? He's all good. He knows, like, let's say that tribe, they all die from some terrible acts.
Yeah, they're good people. It's not like they're.
Yeah, and they
No,
don't know
people
about
just-
Christ. When they're gone, like obviously I don't know, but I would think that if they died and they went up to heaven, he would tell them like, hey, I'm Christ, I'm your God. This is what I offer you. Choose. And then they, in that form, they'd be like, okay. Obviously, they'd probably go to heaven because they didn't know about him.
Right.
But that's being naive, right? There's people who are given the choice or hear about him, like he said, and they say, I don't care. I don't want to follow him.
Mhm.
I don't want to be a part of it. That's rejection, right? And like what he said, how Christ knocks on the door, and if you don't answer, he says, okay, fine, you can't come to heaven. And he says, like, let's say when you die, he's like, of course you rejected God. You have to go up to him when he judges you, and you'll say, oh, I now I know, obviously, because you see him, and you're like, oh, I fucked up. Please have mercy on me. But it's kind of depends because it depends on two things: Christ's mercy on you and the loss. Because two ways are gonna happen. He's gonna forgive you, say, I have mercy on you, come to heaven with me and become, like me, or he's gonna say, depart from me, for you, I don't know you, and you're gonna leave. He's gonna push you out of heaven and give you what you wanted, not him. Because you fucking rejected his ass. You said, no, I don't care. I want to do what I want. I want to live for the world.
So the Bible says, God says that it's better to not to know about him than to know about him and
Reject him.
And do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally, he understands the innocent. He understands. What he doesn't like is the pride people.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like pride.
It's a sin, of course.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
And it's got to do with the same thing as like what he just said, like the innocent, right? Because I could say the same thing. Those people in like let's say the Amazon, different tribe, they didn't know about him, right? Children, babies, they don't know about him. They're innocent. Let's say a child dies tragically. Of course, we pray to God that doesn't happen, but children do die on this planet, and that's because of us, because of humans. We do that to ourselves. Those children, they don't get to like know him like we do until, well, obviously they pass, and then they go up to him and they say, hey, he says, hey, you're coming with me because I know you don't know me and you couldn't develop a relationship with me, because that's what happens. So you're coming straight to heaven. He accepts all children.
They're innocent.
And it's even worse because like he also says that if you as an adult or someone who has gone the chance to know him and you harm somebody who's innocent, like what does he say? He says, it is better to like tie a rock, like a rocks around your feet, and to be cast into the bottoms of the sea than to cause one of the little ones to trip. Basically, he's saying is if you harm a child or the innocent, it's better for you to literally drown in the bottom of the ocean than to do that and face him. Because let's say people who do that, like who harm children, and they go up to him, Jesus, I pray for them because that's some wrath that they got to face from our Lord.
They're hypocrites.
They're hypocrites. Yeah. And
But I'm gonna jump into this one a little bit because I remember something. God says that we have to be following him by faith. Faith is the most important. The angels, they see God. They look at him. They praise him. And they're amazed when humans praise God without even looking at him. Because faith is the most powerful thing. There's people that have seen his power in certain things. The people that have seen miracles even to this day. Right? And they could see. I'm going to give you an example. If you say right now, I want to see God. I want you do this for me, right? God says to test him. Just test me, and he'll do what you want me to do. Literally. And then you'll see that, and you act by faith. That's faith. Like you have faith is it's what we need for humans, as humans, to understand life. I have faith that God is gonna protect me. I have faith that God has my daughter in his hands, right? And God sees that and he moves. It's his will and his plans. If my daughter is in his plans, right? He's gonna do it. But my faith is important because you'll see that.
That's half the battle.
That's when the angels go like, whoa, like
That's why they have such respect for humans,
Yeah.
and that's why Christ says that. Is it Christ or is it one of the apostles? I think it was Christ. He said that when you go to heaven, all of the angels, and even Michael, or the archangel, and Gabriel, the two main angels, are going to kneel to you.
they salute you, man.
They salute and kneel to you when you go to heaven with Christ. An angel, or just think of it, Michael, an archangel, the angel of warfare. This guy is so strong that he cast Satan down from heaven with just boom. He hit him and he fell like
beat him
lightning.
twice.
Think of it like this: Lucifer is so strong that if you try to fight him on your own without God, you lose every time. Every time. And Michael defeated him twice. And the same thing was like when we were killing Christ, when we crucified him, Michael and like 72,000 other angels drew their swords and said, "We're coming down there to rescue you, Lord, and kill all of these humans and destroy the world." And Christ said, "No." He told them to stop.
What was it doing?
God had an army waiting
It takes
For Jesus.
one of them.
to say, you know what, I'm not gonna sacrifice.
Stand a block.
But that's the thing. I'm gonna give you something that comes with all this, because I know topics are topics, and if you get out of topic, whatever, but
It's all topics on you.
everything comes with the same thing. Most people don't understand what love is. People think that love is the sentiments, the feelings that we have. And some people think that that's what love is. But love is a commitment. It's a decision.
It's sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice. Which it comes.
Conditional love.
So what happens? God promised us a lot of things. He said he was going to do this, sacrifice himself, long time ago. You know that? He talks about that, like in the early books of the Old Testament, and he will always deliver his promises, and that's love.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. That's love, because God, at one point, he got tired of humanity. When Noah, like in the beginning,
He killed everyone.
people were killing babies, cannibalism, they were a mess.
About that too.
But you know what he thought about? Us. He thought about us. He said, "Hey, Martinez, one day he's gonna be doing this. You know, one day Boothfield is gonna be doing this. One day, Campbell is gonna be asking so many questions. He's gonna be curious about all this stuff. All the stuff that's going around that people are doing for God." And he remembered. He remembered Cliff. All those people, man. And think about it, the people that are hearing. That's what he remembered. That's love, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about just and us as humans, we have feelings. Like the video that we saw, it was powerful, right? but the action, and that teaches us something powerful.
Mm-hmm.
The feelings had nothing to do with it. Like you feel, oh, that's beautiful. God is beautiful. No, relax.
Yeah.
Yes, He is, but it's the meaning behind it. Why do you do that? He disarmed the man. The guy literally punched him, and he could have killed him. The guy says, "Hey, bless me in the other cheek." He did what Jesus wanted us to do, and look what happened, man. That guy literally fell to his knees in a what's called a hypothetically, he fell to his knees, bro. Spiritually, without the guy doing anything but
Talk to him.
tell him, hit me in the other cheek, like God, like Jesus, man. Think about it, like that's crazy, right? And that's what I mean, like everything comes to this. Like, hey, why is this happening? Why is the other thing happening? Why did we have this, why are we here? All this stuff. To love God. That's it. That's crazy because people think, oh, that's like that's too like, tutti frutti, but the love of God is not the feelings, man. It's the actions and the results of all this. Like they were saying, the same reason why this world hasn't ended yet is because there's still people that are gonna learn and that are gonna be, soldiers of God. And that's the thing, man. Like all these things can be theories, but the truth can be revealed. You just gotta ask for it.
So, controversial question since we're warmed up for episode 3 of Christology. Let's say we develop the technology to become immortal. We use the DNA of those immortal jellyfish that combined with
Some sort of
cyborg stuff or whatever.
Like the salamander, the Mexican salamander that can
Like that, too.
regenerate its body.
So we have regenerative cells, plus we have the cyborg technology, where to live forever. What would Jesus' opinions? What you think Jesus' opinions would be on that, and what role will he play when humanity is immortal now?
I would just say
Because there's no kingdom to go once you go live forever. You have a choice to go, but no one's going to choose to go. They just live forever. Let me pause.
You were saying? Sorry.
so about like being immortal. Okay?
Immortal race, what role will he play with the immortal race?
So I would say it depends because obviously there's different types of mortality. Okay, there's mortalities where you don't age. There's mortalities where you can't be injured. There's all kinds of them. Okay, but let's say for example, like how you said, we have regenerative cells and like cybernetics. So in that sense, I would say we're probably the type of immortality where we don't age and we also can't be killed.
Correct.
So there's still a death that involves with those. It's what do you call it, like mental death, and then there's like your soul death, where you're alive for so long that your mind literally just kills itself. Like you just fade out and then you just die. And then there's like the soul death, which is basically the same thing, except it's like,
that's crazy. I think we talked about that a few months ago too.
yeah, like you will just fade to exist. You won't be you anymore. You'd be a version that is copying you. Kind of like there's a cool concept. There's a game I used to play called Prototype. The main character is this guy who has like these powers, right? And he's like this creature that's able to create blades and stuff, kind of like Venom.
Yeah, I remember that game.
But the thing is the character you inhabit, his name's Alex Mercer. But the whole premise of the game is that you're not actually Alex Mercer. You're the thing that inhabited his body and took upon itself his personality.
Mhm.
So you're basically a parasite,
Mhm.
and you're the prototype. You're the creature. You're not Alex Mercer. It'd be the exact same thing for a cybernetically enhanced cell regenerating being.
Mhm.
If you were that, you wouldn't be you anymore. You would be that cybernetically enhanced thing. You would be a different thing. You would be dead. You would be gone.
So after eons, your soul will fade away
You would
and go
become,
back to source.
yes, you would become just a thing that would move. You'd become like a machine. Your soul would be ripped out of you. You'd lose your mind and you'd become a husk. Just a thing to wander the galaxies and the worlds in the universe. You wouldn't be. You would just be it.
So would Jesus aid a society where there's a utopia on Earth where it's immortality and there's no real challenges? Would he aid the New Age Earth, the Golden Era, or would he just sit back and then focus on something else?
You know, there's the grace of God. Have you heard of it? Have you heard that God says that at the end of times, he's going to take that away from us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Humanity are just going to be insane. The only reason why we believe in the right or wrong is because of the grace of God. If God takes that away, humanity is going to be more destructive than it already is. So let's say right now, God says, okay, humans want to be forever
Immortal.
immortal. All right, I'm going to step back. Because my plan, his plan, for us to go in. Right? He'll step back, take his grace away. I believe so because there's a certain point that he said that he will take it away. Especially if we don't want to be part of his grace. We want to be part of God, part of his definitive plan.
Mm-hmm.
Then he'll take that away and humanity won't last at all. Because humans, first of all, to create immortality, it has to be that humans have the ability to project that to other people in a good way so they can actually create it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, they finally find a way, hypothetically, without doing that, what do you think they're gonna do? They go crazy. Humans go crazy. And you know it. There's even movies about it because people have studied human psychology
Mm-hmm.
and what's gonna happen to people when they start seeing a lot of people die. Right? Because not everybody's gonna be. Have you seen the movie Elysium?
Oh yeah.
The people created a machine that can cure you of anything.
Right.
Did they help the poor? Did they help children?
Hell no.
Did they help people that were
I think
good?
they was living on the moon too.
Right? What they said, it's only for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't care about you. I don't care about you. I don't care about you. It's me. And I'm gonna live forever. I don't care about you. That's what humans are gonna do.
I like how you bring that up too, because that ties in with the mental death.
Yeah.
How a human will just eventually just stop being human. And
You're gonna go mentally insane.
I like how you said too, how God retreating from a world like that, and
Yeah.
he says he takes away his grace. Guess what that is? It's hell.
Yeah.
Anywhere without God is hell.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we became immortal and he retreated from us, and he said, okay, you go do you do what you want to do, you want to become immortal, you want to do with this, that, without me, you can't, and I will give that to you because I'm a gentleman. And he takes you, puts you in hell. And that's what that is. Hell is immortality without him.
Mm-hmm.
He already gives us immortality. He already does. Why would you want to create your own? Why would you want to become a cybernetically enhanced creature that can reproduce its cells when you can be a spiritual, immortal being with the strongest power? Like, he's good. He's all good. Without God, there's nothing, right? Because just how darkness, there's no good. Just how darkness is the absence of light,
Mhm.
evil is the absence of God. because he is good. And that's what would happen if we became those things. First off, it would have to be a universe where Christ didn't come back yet, because obviously he has to do his second coming, right? He has to come back down and fix everything, because that's what he said he's going to do. He's going to come back not with anything, but he's going to come back with a sword.
You know when he's coming back?
No, we don't.
We asked that on the first episode, and we talked about it personally a few months ago, saying how would he return, and if he would return, and how would he go about returning.
So I don't know the date that he's coming back.
He
But
would-
nobody knows, not even the angels know.
So my question
Right.
was, first episode, would he come down all elaborate through the sky where angels were like, hey, I'm Jesus? Or would he like blend in with society and just show up on an interview or just show
So,
up at a meeting
The Bible
or a
says that.
podcast and be like, hey, by the way, I'm Jesus, and he proves that he is with miracles
time?
and stuff.
The Bible says the first time he came as the lamb. The second time, he's gonna come as the lion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can tell you.
An actual line.
No,
No, actually, the definition of a lion.
the power, like a powerful.
Oh yeah, lamb and then the lion.
He's
Correct,
gonna be
correct.
coming like he is, like he's in his throne.
And then I asked if he would, like, is he already here, or is it the return is the Christ consciousness, like everybody becoming awakening, or the third one he'll actually physically come there, and then, or just all three together? Because my theory is, let's say he come down and he proves that he is who he is. I think he's gonna get crucified again because people aren't gonna believe it.
So there's another thing. So the second one that you said, how he'd just come on and like, oh, a politician kind of. I mean,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I'm Christ, whatever. Guess who does that? The Antichrist. He shows up and
Deception.
he's the most charismatic
Yeah.
thing you're ever gonna encounter. And a lot of people are gonna fall for his trick
Mhm.
because he's the opposite of Christ. He's gonna trick all people. That's probably what he would do. He'd come back in like as a politician or some sort of like being who says, "Oh, I'm the way,"
Right.
you know.
So God is gonna be coming as all powerful. There is no human crucified.
When I just thought about it, he'll come down once people are mature enough to realize that it's not him and crucify him again. I think that's why it's taking so long. Because if he came down today and proved himself, they'd be like,
Just think about
"Oh
this.
crap, kill him.
I'm gonna
You're
give
gonna
you.
really prove it."
Sorry,
And
to
he'll resurrect after 3 days and be like, "Told you so. See you next."
sorry to interrupt you, man, but you can see it right now, man. How the devil doesn't want him to come back. God to come back. Why? God says that he'll come back once every year has heard about God, about Jesus. And when we're talking about those islands, what do you think is the devil doing? He doesn't want everybody to hear about God because he knows. Because if he comes back, it's the end for him.
It's a
That's why,
fire
if you think about it, that's why people can't. That's why there's people killing Christians. That's why people don't want the word. That's why there's Muslims killing Christians. That's why there's Buddhists killing Christians. There's Christians killing Christians. You can see it in podcasts, man. People preaching and they're hating on them. Why? Because the devil doesn't want God to come back. And he says, once every year has heard about him, he'll be back. Now, the reason he'll be back again as the lion is because he'll come back as the king. And we'll see him. Everybody's going to look at him. Like you said, the agnostics and all that, they're going to look at him. And it's going to be too late. When he comes back, it's going to be too late. And there's only faith. You have to believe. It's right now, like, let me give you an example about faith. Do you believe that your mom loves you?
Yes.
Can you measure it? Can you scientifically prove me that your mom loves you?
No, scientifically.
Right. That's how faith is. Why? Because if I tell you right now, hey, this, let me say, one day you find out that I've been paying your mom to love you, right? What do you think?
Where's my money? And I'm like,
If you
that
think,
would like ruin my whole world.
right? Because you
Wouldn't
have
know what to
faith.
believe.
You had faith that she loves
You
you,
invested so much.
right?
in the belief system.
That's the power of faith. That's what God wants from us. He doesn't want us to love Him forcefully. Because if He shows up right here, not easy. Oh, I believe in God. How the hell I'm not gonna believe I just saw Him, right?
Easy mode.
Easy. But He wants you to believe. He wants you to have a relationship with Him. Believe in Him with faith, and then at the end you will have your prize. And people saw so many miracles, man. They found how's the word?
Archaeological.
But the people that archaeological.
Archaeological. Damn.
I know.
You're gonna be confusing them now.
It's 'cause
Archaeologists.
Archaeology.
Archaeologists, yeah.
English is hard, man. Have found like things that happened in the Bible. Like they found where the ocean the ocean was open with Moses.
Mhm.
And it's funny because it's perfect how where they crossed was literally the ocean is like this, right? It's deep. Where they crossed, there was a slope like this from the water
Mhm.
when they opened, and they had just enough to cross. They found old Egyptian, the carts that they use,
Chariot.
like things things like that.
Mhm.
They found a rock that was open in the middle when
Mhm.
Moses touched it with his remember the cane,
Mhm. Let's do it.
the stick, and it opened up for the water, right? They have found all the stuff that we see around it, even here, man. You see all this desert,
Mhm.
all the corrosion from the Grand Canyon, all this stuff. All that is because of the flood.
Mhm.
It was a great flood, man. Those the ice from the North Pole, from the South Pole, the water that's under
Mhm.
the earth was the water that flooded everything, and it seeded all over the earth. And they found that they're like, bro, we have found all this stuff, like how the dinosaur bones are close to another animal that we know, or human, fossil, all this stuff. Like all this happened like this quick, right? And people are trying. They're showing this, and you can see it, but people obviously don't want you to see it, right?
Mhm.
What I'm trying to tell you is, at the end of the day, man, like we got to believe with faith to get our prize, and we can learn all this stuff. We can see the miracles. I can go on YouTube and see all the stuff that God did and show you, but you won't believe it until you have faith. Because I can show you this. God can give you a miracle. I have two miracles I can testify on, testimonies. One uncle, whenever they were capturing people for the drugs that were going on and stuff, my uncle crossed drugs, right?
Mhm. Allegedly.
And they were gonna take him. They were gonna take his he had a green card. He wasn't a US citizen. They were gonna take that green card away. He had everything given back to him. In that moment, there was those years, like 2013, 2012, there was no mercy on people that were crossing drugs.
Right.
It was you crossing drugs, let's go. He got his papers back. My aunt crossing human trafficking.
Allegedly.
She got her papers back. My uncle. And they were all chosen. But like all humans, they make mistakes.
Mhm.
And they fall for things. But it doesn't mean they're they're just
Trash.
crossed out. No, He has mercy on us, and He always come back for you.
Mhm.
When you're down, He'll come. He showed them, bro. Bro, He literally showed them. See, even though did all this, you're coming back. And now they all have good life. They're doing well, right? But it was a miracle, man. It was like they had to take their stuff away. We knew for a fact all the stuff that they had, like the background they had, it was for them to just let's go.
Mhm.
And what I mean is like maybe for you can be like, oh, there's an explanation for that. Man, in that moment, we knew for a fact that it was a miracle. We're like, bro. And people could see that and be like, man, whatever. It was because of this. Man, whatever. It's because of that. God can show you miracles, man.
You just gotta be receptive.
But it doesn't matter how many miracles you show you. If you don't have faith,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
But
That's it.
back to Jesus returning. Because I was thinking when I said he returns as the lion persona. What do you think? How do you think he would physically present himself since he's on his lion mode? Will he have the stereotypical pacifist Middle Eastern hippie Jesus that's depicted throughout history, or yeah, with the long hair and the beard, philosopher? I mean, not hippie, but philosopher Jesus, because that's where the beard and the long hair. Or will he come with the brush cut? Like, I'm not playing with y'all with the beard. Or will he come with like armor? Or he'll have just the simple clothing, like the shepherd's clothing or the Middle Eastern clothing? Will he come as a black man? Will he come as a Caucasian or Asian? Whatever. What image would he come back in so it's easier for people to digest?
Not as
Mode.
not as one race, not as like you were saying, like the way he is. We don't know. We don't know that. Nobody has seen him.
No, I'm saying hypothetically, how would he? What do you think he would present himself as the return, the lion when he comes down?
I would say.
Would he wear a suit and tie to like modernize everything to look professional?
Well, that's the same thing that I was talking to you about. Like humans always trying to find. They want to have
And he
an
understands
image, something that will make them, get an understanding about something that we can't. Like
if he come down with like the whole traditional Middle Eastern gear with the sandals, I forgot the name of it, but with the sandals or whatever, people are not going to take him seriously, even though they know.
So this is
he's
the thing.
serious. They're gonna be like, "Who's this poor guy?"
This is the thing, man. When God comes back, first of all, there's I don't know who it was that saw God in his throne, and when he saw him, right, God, right, it was he couldn't see his face. It was like looking at the sun.
Mm-hmm.
He said that everything felt like there was light and different, like the different colors and stuff created like
different spectrums,
different lights and stuff. Like he was trying to make sense of it, right? But like if you read the passage, you'll be like, oh look, we can bring it up and try to see like, hey, what he was looking at. But that's the way he's gonna come back, and it's the way that we don't really we don't have a picture of.
So
we don't
more or less human, like more of a symbol.
What's up? I'm good, brother. Appreciate it.
Oh, he need the I gotta get the what's the name? The battery, his car and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Alright, back.
So, yeah, as I was saying, like in the Bible, it said that he has burned bronze for color skin, like what you were saying. like how, like that doesn't make anybody special. Like of course, like he wasn't black or pale white like how some people like portray him, but as you're saying, like how it doesn't matter like how we portray him, right? That doesn't matter at all. It's his ways, his teachings that we have to follow.
Who he was.
Yeah, if he had a fucking buzz cut or goatee or clean shaven, it doesn't matter how he looks. It matters about who he was, who
Plus,
he is.
when he comes back, sorry to interrupt, but I had to say this because I remember his question. When he comes back, it's gonna be a shock for everybody, man. They'll know that he's God. Because it's in the Bible that they immediately gonna understand this is God.
In this society, you think so?
Yes.
It
People
doesn't matter about the society, it
Let's
matters about
go.
humanity.
look, man. The difference between people looking at it, let me see. A famous person or whatever, or people have their own beliefs and stuff. God says he's gonna come in his might. He's gonna be coming with his angels. He's gonna be coming as, just imagine when a army is coming. He's gonna be to this earth. Like, just imagine he's huge.
But when that because intimidation is okay because this is a crazy society, but will they be too intimidated? You see a whole army of angels and stuff, you're like, oh shoot, I'm in trouble.
So I would say it would be like, it wouldn't be like intimidation. Like, of course, obviously it's going to be scary, but that's because humans naturally, we have a built-in fear of God.
Mm-hmm.
We have a built-in fear of like a being that's
Something that you
more
don't know.
like stronger than you.
Right.
You could say.
What
More
did
smart.
what's it called? Which angel talked to Mary?
So,
Which angel talked to Mary? An archangel.
Gabriel.
Gabriel. When Gabriel came, he talked to Maria. Even he talked to another person, another angel. I don't know if it was Gabriel too.
Gabriel.
I think too.
Talked to both Mary and Joseph.
Joseph. All right. He said, "Do not fear me," because they were scared.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they saw this being. It's not like it's not
probably
like.
all like glowing too. You like,
Look, man. I'm gonna give you this example that, like, this is the only way I can actually make it. I can only describe it.
Mhm.
Angels are not what books and drawings have showed us. Angels are scary.
It depends on the kind of angel as well.
Also depends on the kind of angel. Now they can become a human form and they can look like a human, right?
Mhm.
They can shape into that. Archangels can.
Yeah,
The other angels are different though. There's an angel. I forgot the thrones.
Thrones,
The
cherubim,
seraphim.
seraphim,
Those angels have their
true forms.
their forms, and they are terrifying to us.
Thrones are rings with eyes on them.
Yes, we see them as, maybe we'll look at that as aliens. Right? We're like, damn, they look.
Monstrosities.
Now, just understand this. Think about how God is so creative, right? God is creative. Look at all the species that God made in the planet. There's animals that are scary.
Yeah.
There is
It's a bear.
insects that are scary, man. We humans are special because we were made in God's image. God has 2 hands, 5 fingers, right? Has a head, has a torso, right? But we think about it like, oh, God is gonna be here, like tutti frutti kind of stuff, like the little angels that they put on the churches,
Cherubims.
the cherubims, like they're babies with their little wings. No, man, that's all a lie. But the reality of things is, the demons are scared, man, when they see God. they hide.
How tall will you think Jesus will present himself? Will
Yeah.
he be average height or will he
Giant. He's
turn
gonna
it
come.
up because
he's gonna-
coming back as the lion,
He's gonna come back and he's gonna be giant.
like 10 foot tall?
Giant, man.
Oh, you mean like
Giant.
like 50 foot tall?
So you know how like Galactus is?
Yeah, like that.
Yes,
It'd
very
be
much like that.
How he
I
like,
hadn't thought of
he
it
can,
like that.
like well, I'm assuming like he's gonna change his form, like
Right.
at will, right? Because he's obviously gonna be huge, but he's obviously gonna shrink himself down
Because
so
you're
that he can
presenting
like
a
present
larger
to us. Yeah,
audience.
because
You want to be seen everywhere.
it's the same thing like how, of course, like that example, like Galactus, how he can just grab the world and crush it in his hand. God can do the same thing, but with the universe.
I mean, when you say God, you mean Jesus, correct?
Jesus is God.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept. Like if he wanted to, he could. He doesn't even need to like grab it or crush it. He just needs to snap. Not even snap. Just boop, God. That's all it takes. Nothing. It's nothing on his part.
I understand the way you say, like because of all the media that portrays God and the demons and all that stuff. Because if I give you the context of how the demons look, you know how? Do you know who was Satan?
The most beautiful angel.
Right.
That's Lucifer.
Well,
Well, they're the same thing.
when he turned into Satan, right? What I'm trying to say is like, it's not about how you see things. It's like what's actually happening. Because you're gonna feel the world trembling, and you're gonna look up and you're gonna see a being, and you'll automatically know that that's God. Every single person will understand that that's God. And people are gonna cry and go down saying that, asking for forgiveness, because they always gave their backs on to God, and that's the reality of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fair.
He's all fair. He's
Yeah.
he's fair. He's just.
Yeah, he's just. And I mean, some people could say, "Hey, God, if He's all mercy and all that, why is He doing this, and that?" God is fair, and everything that He does is for a balance, for a purpose, and to be, what's it called? Just.
Something I don't like though is how a lot of people ask the question, like how you said, oh, like I hope that God like forgives me for whatever I've done, this, and that, like sin wise.
Yeah.
And they try to like ask the question, oh, if like let's say you committed genocide, would God forgive you? I don't like those kinds of questions because it implies that we know the scale that God weighs us on.
Mhm.
Like he obviously is all merciful, but he's also the perfect judge. Okay, so he's got to like weigh if you are allowed to be with him or not.
Right.
We don't know how he weighs us or how he would be in that way.
I saw this. What's it called? Podcast ones about some people talking about this, and they came out with some good points that it's in the Bible. First of all, for someone to do that kind of stuff, he's already off the grid of coming back, right? Somebody can do genocide like that, they're already off the grid. Most of those people commit suicide most of the time because of how they're already
So
beyond coming back. Now, I know a person, right, that was a hitman in Mexico from the cartels. That I used to go to the same church that I don't know if he still goes, right? And this person, way different person than you will ever think he could have been, as somebody that killed people. This man, he told us his story, and I know for a fact that he has a relationship with God now. Like, I'm gonna give you another example. Who was it? What's his name? Um, I remember this guy in the Bible that was chasing Christians. Okay, there's this guy. I'm gonna look it up right now because it's important. This guy was chasing Christians in the time, of maybe before Moses, or before Moses.
Was he like
around-
Jason as a persecutor?
Yeah,
He was,
persecuted.
he was persecuted.
And God showed up as lightning in front of him. Boom. And he told him, "Why are you chasing me?" And the guy fell to his knees and he told God that he didn't know. He didn't know he was doing that, right? And God forgave him and he changed his name.
Wasn't that one of the apostles?
I don't know if it was
I thought it was
Emmanuel or somebody else.
I know one of the apostles was a persecutor of.
So God doesn't have a scale of like, he did good or bad. No, he measures your heart.
And that's what I mean too by
Yeah.
like a metaphorical
People-
scale
Mhm.
is like how he would measure you.
Yeah.
And like how someone did something horrendous like that,
Right.
how would he measure them? We don't know.
Yeah. He measures your heart. How much did you actually feel that you want to ask for forgiveness? How genuine is your forgiveness? Because people can say, like crazy people can be like, Jesus forgive me because I killed people. God's not going to forgive you like that. It has to be a genuine belief. And for that to happen, it's hard for someone that already did that. But if it does, because if it happened, God can forgive you. But it has to be genuine. Now, genuine, I don't know what that means for God. But if you ask, I've asked God for forgiveness, and I've asked with all my heart, and I've cried, and I've told him I am nothing, and I've told him I don't deserve your forgiveness because of what I've done. I literally tell him I am less than a bug, man, less than anything, than anything you can describe, man. And I feel that way, and I ask him. Genuinely, I want your forgiveness, even though I know I don't deserve it. And I think in my heart that I was genuine about what I was feeling. And I believe that God accepted what I was feeling, what I really in my heart was asking for that.
Forgiveness. Yeah.
But
I've
people,
had moments like that too, where
but
it's
people,
just, you just feel so like closed off.
but people want to know, like, oh, does God forgive you if you did this? Does God forgive you if you did that?
It's
If
not
you
just-
raped, if you did this, if you that, look, man, you gotta understand, like, it has to be a powerful thing. It's not like, oh yeah, God is all good. He's gonna forgive me. No, man, it's not like that. It's a relationship. I was telling you, like, let's say right now, if I punch you in the face, what are you gonna feel? Hey, what the heck, man? Like, you hurt me, man. Like, you hurt my feelings too, because I never thought you would do that to me.
Mm. Yeah,
And I'll be
because
like, hey man, you're my friend. I know you're gonna forgive me, bro. You know? And then I punch you again in the face. What are you gonna think, man? This guy is crazy, you know?
Mm.
But I say, hey man, I'm pretty sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I generally know that I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I asked you. If you don't want to forgive me, it's okay. I was messed up. I was drunk. I was in drugs. I don't know what I was doing. You know, being honest. And you do that, right? What's gonna happen? Right? You're gonna be like, maybe I'll forgive you, but it's gonna hurt. Like, I'm not gonna be able to,
fully
see you the
accept.
same way,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But give me time, right? Give me time to forgive you, and yeah, maybe I could. You know what I mean?
And that's why God is.
There's a sex
Good.
thing. It's a relationship that you have, and it's like it's not like, oh, he's a magical you know, those genies from the lamps that you like, you just ask 2 wishes, hey, forgive me, and whoop, you forget now. It's not like that. That's how it is. I'm sorry, man, if I go long with this stuff.
No, it's good. It's we only been in for it's been an hour. Dang, we almost finished with episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because most of this episode was talking about the return of Christ. How would he present himself?
Well, we know how he's going to present himself. It says in the Bible. He comes with a sword this time, as the lion. And obviously, like how you said, like, oh, what would humans do? Would we crucify him again? There's not a chance we're going to be able to do that. He's going to be, like, if somebody tried to attack him, like, in that point, oh, no.
But will he wear the long hair or will he rock the brush cut with the beard?
Well, obviously, he's going to, like, we already know he's going to be looking peaked up, right? He's going to come in fresh, but he's not going to
wear a helmet?
No.
And armor? Since he
Look, man,
we already know he's gonna look good. Okay?
He's not playing with you.
He's God. He's gonna come out like, what's up, guys? Cleaned up, but he's not gonna be like, it's not gonna matter because he's there for a reason. We're gonna be like, oh, we're not gonna be paying attention to that. We're gonna be like, oh shit,
you're gonna sense his
it's
power level.
God. Yeah. We're gonna be like, fuck, did I do enough to? Did I have enough faith? Did I have enough of my relationship with him to go with him, or am I going to be left? Because that's up to him too at that point.
The way I see it, someone that had a relationship with God is going to be happy to see him.
Okay.
You're going to be happy that he's back. I guess everybody can take their own version, but that's my version. I'll be like, yes, man, I finally,
yeah.
and what people are be scared, man. Like man, I fucked up. Like I didn't care about this. Yeah, and it was true.
I would feel like it would be like a mixed emotions. First off, when he comes back, it's gonna be straight like surprise, and then it's gonna go from surprise to a little bit of fear. Where you're like, oh, it's God. Like he's the creator. Like he's here in front of me. It's kind of like how a regular person would react if the president walked through the door. They'd be like, oh, it's the president, kind of like that. But obviously it's got a much, much higher scale. And it's also going to be like a mix of joy and, again, fear, because you're going to be like, oh, it's God, like this is my creator. This is what I've been doing to try to like find and like love and worship. It's him, right? You're like, yes, finally. But then you're going to be like, did I do enough? And then that setting of fear is going to fall on you and be like, did I do good enough?
Am I worthy? Right?
Am I worthy? Yes. Because you're a sinner. And
right.
Everybody else is a sinner, of course, but like it's you. You're going to be like, did I do enough to earn his mercy? Or am I such a sinner that I'm going to be left? That fear is going to set on you and you're going to be like, now you're going to fall to your knees and you're going to be like, judge me.
Mm-hmm.
Judge me, Lord. See if I'm worthy or not for you.
Right.
To have your mercy to even just like be next to you, and he's gonna say, okay, he's gonna judge you.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you did right in your life. You go with him.
So we're gonna end off episode 3, and episode 4 we'll talk about what do you think Christ done during the early years of his life before he turned 33. This is Christology, episode 3.